heard you crack open the blue light.
Yo, come on in. You guys are here too?
Goodbye, empty couch. Hello, standing room only. Labatt takes everything to the power of we.
What's up, Bobcats? We are back. Another edition of Bobcat Tracks presented by Labatt Blue. My name is Sam Hyman, as always, joined by the one and only Tanaya Stevens.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone listening to Bobcat Tracks or watching. You know, it's just great to be here. Another episode. We're in May. Feels good.
Ooh, May Madness. That's right. We are here, the month of May. A lot of emotions right now.
Yes.
Especially for the student athletes that are graduating.
Absolutely. Graduation is literally around the corner. Well, we'll be here, and it's great. And you see a lot of them growing, and we'll be talking to some seniors as well.
That's right. So if you're new to the show, Bobcat Tracks presented by Labatt Blue, we go beyond just the athlete. We talk about the journey from the very beginning with all of our student athletes on the show. And our guest lineup is great today. We've got 3 guests on the docket, starting with Matt Ineich from the baseball team. Then we've got Abby Kennelly from the softball team. And last but not least, track and field.
Millie Ryan, thrower, senior. So excited to hear from all of them, all different athletes. But, you know, it's exciting to hear what did they talk about beyond their respective sports.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for everyone to tap in. Again, we are on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Our YouTube channel, OhioBobcatStudios. Give us a thumbs up. Thumbs up, yep. And leave a comment, too. We want to hear from you if you have any suggestions about the show. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into our 3 conversations. Ready, set,
go.
Woo! First guest on Bobcat Tracks for the May edition, May Madness. Yes, indeed. Let's get it. Let's go. Matt Ineich from the baseball team. What's up, Matt?
Woo!
What's up? How are you guys?
Great. Happy to see you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for
Great.
having me.
First ever podcast for you?
It is, yes.
Nice.
That's
That's
that
awesome.
deserves another cheer.
Yeah, we've had so many first-time podcast guests, so it's awesome to have you on. And you're a freshman. Tell us a little bit about where you grew up and what got you into the sport of baseball.
Yeah, so I grew up about 20 minutes north of Ann Arbor, Michigan. You know, I always played baseball my whole life, always played hockey my whole life. I actually was mostly a hockey player growing up. Those skills kind of translated into my baseball game and made me what I am to be today. And then, you know, freshman year of high school, let go of hockey, picked up baseball full time, and it's been great ever since.
Is that common? Hockey players, baseball players, they do the same thing. I've heard that.
Around my area, it definitely was. Michigan's kind of like a hot spot for hockey.
Yeah.
So, like on my hockey team, there was a good amount of baseball players as well. I think most of them actually stuck with hockey instead. So
Okay.
It was interesting.
What stuck with you to stick with baseball instead of hockey?
Just the little things. I mean, a lot of people don't pick up on a lot of the little things just watching a baseball game. You kind of have to dive deep and you got to be involved in it. A lot of the mental stuff. I'm big on the mental side of the game. I think it's great. And yeah, in hockey, you don't really see that as much. So I just love that part about baseball.
Do you have an early baseball moment or memory that resonates with you when you were a kid growing up?
Yeah, I'm just playing in the front yard with my brother. He's 22 now. He played hockey, but you know, we'd always go in the front yard and throw a tennis ball or a wiffle ball around and hit it as hard as we could.
Anybody in your family or family friends that influenced you to continue to play baseball?
No, they kind of left it up to me, just what I wanted to do, which I'm thankful for. My parents didn't really, push me in a direction. They kind of just let me go.
Nice. So as you started to, you mentioned the wiffle ball, the competitiveness a little bit with your older brother. What was that like? Did you learn anything from having an older brother growing up in terms of like sports or just life advice?
Yeah, I mean, not being too far in age apart, definitely fought a lot, which, looking back at it now, it was fun times, definitely. He put me in my place a few times. But yeah, that competitiveness definitely stemmed from that. Up until now, I've that competitive nature is just kind of, it's always there, even no matter what I'm doing, whether it's like in the classroom or on the field. I'm always ready to compete.
We can tell. We can tell.
That's crazy. So any other interests that you had like away from sports when you were a kid growing up? You said just outside of Ann Arbor, like anything outside of sport that you gravitated towards?
I've always been a big fisher. Lots of ponds near my neighborhood. So
Ice fishing?
not so much ice fishing.
Okay.
That was always, in the winter playing hockey, so I didn't have much time. But, after, the baseball tournaments, go out there and catch a few fish and then go to bed. It was pretty nice.
That takes a lot of
Nice.
patience. I feel like fishing,
Yeah.
you have to be super patient. I haven't really fished ever, but when I have, it requires a lot of patience. What do you get out of fishing? Is there just calmness? What is it?
Yeah, it's peaceful for sure. Kind of tucked away in the back of the neighborhood. It was just kind of calm and peaceful. You just cast your rod out and, just wait. Some days you're catching 5 or 6, some days you're catching none. But, that's all part of it, so.
Have you gone recently fishing?
No, I haven't.
No.
I saw some kids fishing on the Hawking
Yeah.
yesterday, actually, so I don't know, I kind of want to get out there maybe during these last 3 weeks where we're still here and there's no school.
Yeah.
Huh. That's cool. So, growing up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, being in a spot where it's not that warm all the time, and baseball is an outdoor sport. Anything that you did to deal with that, handle that, create something where you were able to constantly be inside and be productive from a baseball standpoint as a young kid?
Yeah, mostly starting in high school. Like once I started taking baseball pretty serious, one of my high school coaches owns a facility kind of about 10, 15 minutes from my house. And we were lucky enough, he just gave us a key. And me, 2 other buddies, one's playing at Eastern Michigan now, baseball, and one's playing at Oakland University. We'd wake up at 5 a.m., go get a lift in before school, maybe throw or hit, and then, go to school, and then we'd come back after. And it was kind of like that for about 2 years. And, I mean, that made drastic improvements in just my overall strength and in my overall game.
5 a.m. Was that easy for you to get into that groove?
The first 2 weeks of it, that was tough. It took a lot of discipline, a lot of black coffee as well. But yeah, after those 2 weeks, it kind of, it almost felt natural. Like I have to do this in order to get where I want to get in life and in baseball. So yeah, it was almost natural after that.
Is there anything that you took from hockey to baseball? Like, is there a specific skill set from hockey? Because you talked about how you grew up playing hockey as well. A skill set from hockey that you've taken to baseball?
In hockey, I was always kind of, I wouldn't say conservative, but I was a left winger, so I was on the offense, but I was always kind of a defensive player, kind of I don't know, calm almost, just kind of waited for everything to develop. Right. And yeah, I think not just that developed how I am as a baseball player, but how I am as a person. Just kind of let everything around me evolve, and then I just react to it.
I love how athletes can look at the human aspect of being in the sport, but also looking at it from a life aspect as well. That's really cool that you see it that way.
Yeah.
Nice. So as you're going through high school, I have this written down. Want to make sure I get it right. Detroit Catholic Central High School.
Correct, yeah.
Detroit Catholic Central High School. Same high school as Trey Cassidy.
Yeah.
Is this an all-boys school?
It is, yeah. About 1,000, a little over 1,000 kids.
We've had probably 4 or 5 athletes that went to an all-girls or all-guys.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah,
and
something about them athletes.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's really cool that you and Trey went to the same high school. But yeah, growing up and going to that high school, what would you say was the biggest takeaway from that experience?
Their motto there is GDK, goodness, discipline, and knowledge. And I think throughout my 4 years there, they really instilled that in me, just especially with the discipline part. on and off the field. Classwork was intense, homework was intense, and then going to the field afterwards, it was also pretty intense. So just overall, those 3 values, they've shaped me to who I am now.
Do you remember your favorite moment of baseball with Detroit Catholic?
Yeah, there was my senior year. It was a conference semifinal game. Even though we lost, it was I think 13 or 14 innings. So we basically played 2 games in one game. But yeah, it kind of felt like a fever dream. I think I had 4 doubles in just that one game, and I pitched 6 innings. I actually missed homecoming for that, I think it was. So yeah, takes some sacrifice sometimes to get through things like that, but yeah, that was definitely one of the best moments.
You were a pitcher too in high school?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Wow.
What was your favorite position to play in high school? You're a second baseman primarily here, but we've seen you at shortstop. Mm-hmm. Did you know in high school, like, I want to focus on this particular position, or were you just kind of like, put me anywhere?
At first, when I was a little freshman on varsity, I think I was like 135 pounds, like 5'6". I was just, get me out there.
But on varsity, not JV.
Yeah, right. So I was just like, get me out there, I want to play. So I ended up at second base, actually. And then, I've always been a middle infield person, and then I moved over to shortstop, and I kind of just focused on that from there on out. So
Versatile.
Yeah, that's a fact. You mentioned how the homework was rigorous as well at the high school level. Can you explain a challenging homework assignment, or I don't know, something that you were trying to learn that was super hard and you had to push through it?
Well, there's always these vocab quizzes in this English class. My senior year, teacher was pretty hard. He was kind of relentless, and it was like second semester of senior year. You didn't really want to do anything, and he's putting out these vocab quizzes that are like fill in the blank with these like sentences that almost make no sense. And it's like,
I've been there.
Yeah, and you're studying for it. The only time you're studying for it is like 15 minutes before, because you just really don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Those were tough. Those were tough to get through, but we're here now. So
yeah, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you feel like you were turning a corner with the sport of baseball?
Probably freshman year when I got put on varsity. I think that kind of put it in perspective. Like I can hang with kids who are 4 years older than me. I'm pretty young for my class, so I'm still 18, and these kids are back when I was a freshman, I was only 14 then. So I was hanging with these kids who were 4 years older than me, and I knew I could do it, so kept at it.
Why do you think you made varsity as a freshman?
I don't know. I think I can, like she said, I think I'm pretty versatile. I think you could put me anywhere, and I think I'll make a difference. I'm pretty confident in that. And
it seems like you were just willing to put yourself out there wherever was needed, but wherever you want it to be as well, just to get out there.
Yeah. I mean, even now, I'm willing to play any position. If that's what the team needs, I'll do that, and I'll make a difference.
That's great.
So getting into your recruiting process and how you ended up at Ohio, we love asking people this question on this show, as you know what's coming. Tell us about your recruiting process and why you ultimately chose Ohio.
Yeah, so sophomore summer, when everything was starting to pick up, I went to Future Games, which is like a pretty big event in Georgia, just for uncommitted kids in my class. And yeah, there was I think it's like over 300 colleges there. So you have a showcase and you play 3 games against just other states' teams. And yeah, right after that, it was just kind of, like follow on Twitter, and then message. And then once that one date hit where it's like they can start contacting you, it was texts and phone calls. And yeah, so got in contact with Ohio, along with majority of the other MAC schools too. But I don't know, this place kind of felt like home to me. It felt right. The atmosphere here is awesome. The people here are awesome. So I'm glad.
Being around like the athletes that are on the team already, did you feel that brotherhood and like camaraderie between everybody when you were visiting Ohio?
Yeah, for sure. And I want to shout out my boy Trey Cassidy. He, having him here as well, it kind of made the transition really easy. Kind of having that bridge from, old friend and then, to these bunch of new guys. But yeah, it made everything really easy, and it was visible to see like this is a tight group. That was good.
A little home away from home.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a fact.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we had Trey Cassidy on the podcast and gave us a lot of great insight both on and off the field. And so I'm curious with, people can look at this at your stats and how you're doing and say, okay, like this has been an easy transition for Matt Ineich, hitting, for the most part throughout the season in the 400s. But was the transition and still is the transition challenging?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm not even fully there yet. It's, there's still some components that are going to fall into place, and I understand that. I understand it takes time, takes more experience too. It's not just going to happen overnight. And yeah, mostly mentally, I think that's the key for most of it. Yeah, physically, I think, there's a lot of work to do off the field to, hang with the big dogs up there, and yeah, we'll get there. So,
what is something that you've seen with your high school, the way you played in high school, that you worked on that you're doing well in now in college?
Going back to that mental side, you make a mistake, you got to forget about it. You can't hold on to that. Whether it's a bad at bat, you can't take it into the field because that's just going to affect what you do out there. Or if you make a mistake, you make an error in the field, you can't take that to the next play. And I developed that in high school for sure, and then carried it over here. And yeah, it's hard sometimes, but you got to do what you got to do.
Is your high school big on that? Because Trey actually said the same thing in the sense of he is short-term with the idea of things holding him down. He's able to let go of it quick. Is that your high school focused on the mental aspect of the sport?
Yeah, I wouldn't even say it's like just our baseball program. I think it's also the school. Okay. It's a phenomenal school. I think just how they work things over there kind of creates that and instills that in you. So I'm not surprised Trey's, this almost the same way.
It's very important.
It is
in this day and age.
I mean, the mental side of that. I played baseball in high school, and I remember even a simple fly ball into center field, I'd be looking up, and if I drop this ball, I'm screwed. Like I am. It's not so. Like I remember Trey telling us about his first start at Ohio, and he said he threw a ball, airmailed a ball into center field on someone that was trying to steal second base, and like. So dealing with the failure and the setback, what is your go-to thing? Like, what are the conversations that you have with yourself or with other people to avoid letting that sort of sit in your mind, the negative stuff?
When something happens, something bad happens, it's you got to have some self-talk, some positive self-talk, like you're good, like you're better than that. Sometimes I strike out looking, and it's I think it's a bad call. Obviously, he called it a strike. I just kind of sit there and I kind of laugh because there's nothing you can do about it at that point. You just gotta get back to the dugout and on to the next thing. Mm-hmm. So just something positive, no matter what it is. I mean, for example, laugh. Just something to get over it.
Yeah.
Obviously, transitioning to college is always a big shock. I know me as a former athlete, the scheduling of everything is spread out more than, high school. When you think about it, you've had school from like 7:40 to 3 o'clock, and then you get to practice and you're not really that tired. Mm-hmm. What is something that shocked you coming into college besides, just the transition as from a high school athlete to a collegiate athlete?
Definitely the wear and tear on the body, just kind of the fatigue, especially with the baseball season being as long as it is. You got to stay on top of it. You got to eat right. You got to, You have to lift when you can lift. You have to stretch when you can stretch to, try and avoid some of those things. And sometimes you can't, but you got to do as much as you can to avoid that.
Right. It's almost like when you think you did enough, you still have to do more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anything that you are eating during the season that's helped you, or that you've found maybe spur of the moment during the season that's helped you kind of navigate the rigorous season in your freshman year?
I just say staying hydrated. That's the biggest
There we
thing.
go.
It's got high metabolism.
Yeah, that's got to be the biggest thing. I would hate to say caffeine intake because that's probably through the roof, but definitely just staying hydrated kind of just improves everything else.
Nice. Yeah. So as a hitter, we mentioned how your hitting has been really, really well documented. I think you hit safely in your first 12 games of the season and only had one strikeout off to this ridiculous start, and you've maintained consistency throughout the season. For you, because everybody has their own stance, everybody has their own approach at the plate. Why are you successful at the plate? What makes you a good hitter?
Well, I go up there knowing I'm going to get a hit. I go up there saying, you're not better than me. I'm going to put a ball in play here, and it's going to find a hole. I'm going to get on base, as well as keeping it simple. If you're trying to, pull every ball 400 feet and hit a home run every time, it's probably not going to look too good. So you just got to keep it simple, hit a ball hard, and run hard as well. A good amount of my hits are probably infield hits. I mean, I probably didn't even hit them that hard, but once you hit the ball, your next job is to run hard. So
put the ball in play, find a way. What work hitting fundamentally, in terms of your practice away from the field as a hitter, has helped with your in-game hitting? Anything in particular? Tee work, cage work, situational stuff?
Yeah, just sticking to my routine, strictly in soft toss, before you go into machine work. And shout out to JT, our hitting coach. He made that a point of emphasis in the beginning of the season. You got to find a routine. You got to stick to it. It doesn't matter, if you go 0 for 4 one game, it's still your routine. It's got to be unconditional. And I take, about 4 rounds of soft toss with my, foot placement, no stride, and just kind of hit balls the other way. And then I'll go into machine work. And, once I feel good, once I feel prepared for the game, then I'll get out there.
You mentioned no stride. What does that help you with?
I think it just helps. It helps me just isolate my hands from my legs. I like feeling, just seeing the ball deep and just letting my hands work. And if you can eliminate movement somewhere without sacrificing anything, I think that cleans up a lot in your swing. So
nice. Yeah, I mean, again, everybody has a different batting stance.
Yeah.
I used to, again, I'm going back to my high school days where I wasn't that great. I did go to a showcase camp, though. But the leg, some people have the leg kick, some people keep it really simple. How would you describe your stance and your batting stance, and has it evolved over the years?
Yeah, overall, I'd say it's pretty simple, but I used to have a lot more movement. I used to sway back kind of with a bigger toe tap. And then, throughout my high school years, I kind of slowly cut that down into what it is now. And I'm trying to eliminate all unnecessary movement and, just get the most out of what I can.
I love that you brought up a routine earlier too. Shout out to JT Heenan out there. JT, getting in that routine. Is that routine that you just talked about? Is it before the game on a game day, or is it a routine that you also have maybe after practice once practice is over?
It's every time I go hit. So whether that's early hitting or hitting at practice, hitting after practice, hitting before a game, it's going to be the same thing. If you saw me one day and then saw me about 2 weeks later, you'd see me doing the same thing.
Finding a routine.
You got to stick to it.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean,
because it just replicates
to
your play.
Yeah. What else have you learned about yourself the most during your time at OU? Your short time so far, because you're only a freshman.
Yeah, 8 months in.
I don't know. I kind of feel like I've definitely grown as a person just through these short 8 months here. I feel like I've matured quite a bit, kind of being on my own, being away from my parents, being away from my brother. Yeah, just kind of maintaining everything on my own. I feel like I've grown tremendously off the field.
What is something that's not baseball related that when you realize, like, man, I'm actually doing this by myself. I don't have my parents.
Well, when I run out of my parents' money, I gotta go spend my own money to go get something to eat or get some groceries or whatnot.
Yeah.
No, I feel that. I mean,
There was one that said the laundry.
Yeah.
That
Dealing with the laundry.
I try to throw as much as I can on the loops in the locker room and just kind of rewear the same
Take advantage
stuff.
of it. Got to.
So what are you studying here at Ohio?
My major's accounting. So a lot of people, when I say that, they're like, oh,
Numbers.
accounting.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just kind of, I've always been a numbers person. It just kind of works in my head. For some reason, I kind of find it interesting too. So
It's a mental thing.
I mean, there's a lot of numbers in baseball.
Yeah.
Do you look at a lot of there's launch angle, there's all this type of stuff out there now, and especially in the minors, they look at all of it. Do you with your accounting and numbers love tie it into baseball or no?
a little bit for sure. I definitely catch myself, looking at some numbers after games, not even just mine, but like, major leaguers. Just I find it pretty fascinating sometimes.
What are you seeking to learn? What's the next step for Matt Ineich as a student athlete?
Just continue my trajectory upwards, constant improvements, day by day, stacking days, whether that's, stretching on an off day or getting a lift in on an off day, just improving every day. Maybe that's, reading something as well on the mental side, but just, continuously taking steps upward.
Nice. It's time for Off the Tracks. Let's get it. Let's go.
All right. I started off.
You start.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Chocolate.
Simple.
Yeah.
Keeping it
Can't
simple.
go wrong. Can't go wrong. Chocolate.
Like it. Favorite fictional character?
Oh. Probably the Hulk.
Hey. Dinner with one celebrity.
Bryce Harper.
Hey.
Like to learn some hitting
Yeah,
advice from
yeah.
him. Yeah.
What hitting advice would you ask Bryce Harper?
He always seems to find a way up to the plate when in these intense situations, and I want to, he maintains his composure, and most of the time he follows through. I actually was watching a game last night, and he was up with bases loaded, and it was like he's batting like 350 with bases loaded with like 8 grand slams in his career, and I mean that's crazy to me. I want to know what he's thinking up there in those high pressure situations.
If he is even thinking.
Yeah.
It's just like going out there hitting.
Sometimes it's good to just not think at the plate. Have you learned that?
Yeah, sometimes you just kind of go up there empty-minded and see ball, hit ball. Sometimes that definitely works.
But that takes real, like, you really got to be good at that because, like you said, it's a mental sport. You can get instantly in your head about, okay, what type of ball is being thrown at me?
Yeah, sometimes, if you're overthinking it and you're like, in this sequence, he's definitely going to throw this pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like JT says, you can't sit on the fence.
Right.
If you're sitting on the fence, you're going to be off of both of them. So
Ooh.
Say that
Wide
again.
words.
if you can't sit on the fence, otherwise, you're going to be off the fastball. You're going to be off the curveball as well. So
JT.
These one-liners are
Sounds
just
nice.
legendary. Routine and
Shout out.
Does he have any others?
yeah, one of my favorites. Don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah.
And the other thing that he said too, he said to me, every day's a tryout. Every day's a tryout.
Absolutely.
He was at walk-on tryouts at West Virginia as a bullpen catcher. Every day's a tryout. Got to prove yourself.
Every day. No
love
one
that.
is safe.
All right. Would you rather live underwater or in space?
Underwater. I think that would be pretty cool. Like the ocean?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely underwater.
Cool.
Okay. What song is on repeat right now?
Style Rare by Offset and Gunna.
Okay.
That's my favorite song, and it has been for a while now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Is that your walk-up song?
No, but
It might
should
be.
be.
It
It
might
should
be.
be.
What is
Yeah.
your welcome song?
Hard to Choose One by Future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it. It's hard for me to choose a walk-up song. Gosh, I'm not that funny. I'm not that funny, I promise. Who is your favorite athlete of all time?
Overall athlete.
Yeah, overall.
It's hard for me to get away from baseball, but I love Jose Iglesias so much. Big Tigers guy too.
Okay.
Yep.
He was just so flashy at shortstop with the Tigers, and
Okay.
I know that guy.
There you go.
I know that guy.
Backing up, you mentioned some of your favorite songs. What's your
Yeah.
what's your go-to karaoke song?
I know they made you do one on the bus one time.
Yeah, the one I did on the bus was Tweaker by Jello. That kind of set the tone, but I mean, if I was to do another one, it would be I Miss You by Blink 182.
Ooh, well,
I
okay.
think, yeah, I can.
How does it
sing that
go?
one
How does it go?
Where are you?
Yeah.
There you go.
Man,
There you go.
I feel like, where are you? What's after that?
I don't know.
I'm so sorry.
What's the is that the chorus?
Yeah, I think so.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's go, Matt. Bring in the
first,
vocals.
only person we asked him to sing a
I
karaoke
feel
song.
like
You're the only one that would sing it for us.
I
and
think
now he's
one
gonna sing it.
other person did actually, dating back to last year.
Oh,
Yeah, one other person. Let's see if I have anything else. You are stuck on a deserted island with no one around. You can bring one item. What item would you bring?
A fishing pole. Yeah, I think that'll be resourceful.
I think it would be too. You never.
wow, that's a good one.
It really is. People have said phones, but like your phone
It's
can
dying.
die.
It's gonna
Your phone's
die.
gonna die.
Yeah, you probably don't have much service out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're right.
You
But a
can't do
fishing pole, you
much.
never know what you're gonna catch.
Really, you could. I always think you need to write SOS in the sand in case of a helicopter or plane. So you can write SOS.
Because a helicopter's gonna see that.
Yes,
It depends on how big
They
you.
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Craziness.
gonna take a while, but
All right. Well, Matt, anything else you'd like to share? We really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, I've got nothing. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah.
It's a great
great
time.
to be here. Great for you to be on here.
Moving on to our next guest, Bobcat Tracks presented by Labatt Blue, Abby Kennelly from the softball team.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
This has been an unbelievable season. Oh my goodness gracious, the softball team, the vibes are high.
Oh yeah.
One word to describe the season so
Yeah.
far. What would you say?
I mean, it's basic but fun. We've just came in every game trying to have the best time, and we just all get along so well that every game it ends up, no matter the result, we're having fun. So
What
Yeah.
has been your favorite part this far?
I would say my favorite part was probably the Miami series and
Yeah.
the senior night. It couldn't have been more perfect for them. So that was probably my favorite part so far.
It is a special group of seniors. I mean,
yeah.
they're all so connected, and I'm sure for you coming in as a freshman to see that connection and that love and that passion, like what was that like for you when you saw how close they were and them being seniors? What did it look like from your lens?
I mean, immediately before we even were on campus, we were getting texts from all of them, like telling us that, hey, like we're gonna have everybody over this day when you guys get here, and they were all like joking around already in the group chat, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be a fun group. And then just seeing them and how well they get along with each other, it kind of makes you more comfortable and more come out of your shell a little bit faster. Yeah. And I think just right away, we all bonded together. And
That's awesome.
yeah, there was no like senior freshman distance. It was always-
Authoritative type
No.
of feeling.
That's
great.
actually, now that you say that, because Coach Hall, I think she told me that as well, where it's like the classes like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, like it's not like split and people don't hang, like everybody hangs out with everybody. And to your point about hearing from the seniors in a group text, like, hey, we're doing this, then like you got to be intentional about that, you
Yeah.
know? And when you first interact with people, that early stage of like how you meet is so key. So that's really cool that it was that welcoming.
Yeah.
We love that. All right, let's go back. Let's hit the rewind button a little bit before we get into some more Ohio softball. Go back to the very beginning, Abby. Where did you grow up and how did you find softball?
Okay. I grew up in Toledo, Ohio, and actually my mom's friend, so her coworker, was coaching a softball team and needed an extra player. My mom was like, well, I guess my daughter can try it out. So I played a little bit of Little League. I did T-ball too, but that wasn't too serious. And then I really loved it, so I started out with travel ball. I played for the Wizards out of Toledo, and then kept going. I played for Finesse and Texas Glory out of Ohio, and then I played for Outlaws, and then it brought me here.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That story is early on with your mom just kind of said, hey,
Throwing you in the
Yeah,
fire.
go. You're how old were you?
5, 6 maybe.
So you were just
Yeah.
probably like, I'll do whatever.
Yeah, I was a pitcher too. So
Oh my goodness.
Gosh. So I guess as you get older with the sport, what is something that just made you stick with softball?
I think it was the teammates I had. My teammates have always been my best friends, whether that's my school teammates or my travel teammates. And I think softball's such a team sport, it's not individual at all, that it was just having like that community. It was like, I wouldn't do anything else. Like it became my life and it was so much fun. So
Love that.
Yeah, the team aspect, just being a part of a team,
Yeah.
and especially one that loves each other is huge. So you went to Anthony Wayne High School.
Right.
What was that experience like for you?
it was perfect. I mean, we did really well while I was there, so it was fun. Coming in as a freshman, before never made it to the state finals except for 2003 when we won it. So we had a good group, and we didn't expect to make it that far, but I think we did well, and we kept going, and we eventually, I think we made it to the state semis all 3 out of the 4 years. So,
Wow.
yeah.
30-1 record I have written down your sophomore year.
Yes. That was the year, but then we got a little
That's crazy
in
though.
it early, but yeah, that was a great year.
Man, that's wild. And it was softball and volleyball when you were in high school, but you always knew it was softball that you were going to pursue.
Volleyball was always just a fun side thing for me. but
Yeah.
yeah.
What was your favorite moment while you were at the high school level, whether it was on the field or off the field? Anything resonate?
I think my favorite moment was, I guess this was a couple times, but when we would leave to go to states, they would have a little parade for us, and there was all
Okay.
the other people with the signs, and the police cars would and the fire trucks would escort us out, and just to see the whole community rally behind us, I think that was just, it really put things in perspective, and it made it mean a lot more.
Parade, okay.
Yeah, a little escort, a little.
Were there Abby Kennelly signs?
Probably my parents.
That's crazy. So when you were thinking about where to go for college, this is always a question we love to ask. As you looked around and went through the recruiting process, what was kind of going through your mind?
To be honest, I hated the recruiting process.
Stressful.
It was very stressful. And it was, I actually was committed to a different school prior to here. And I committed there, and I just never, I thought I loved it, but I didn't get the same feeling. And then there was coaching changes and trouble. So OU came along, and as soon as I came here and was offered here, I was like, oh wait, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Like this is right. And I would always like be like this place or this place, but I always wanted everyone to say OU. And then as soon as I committed here, I knew that I picked the right school.
What was that moment where you knew? Like, was it someone you met, or just like multiple things that added up? Like, when did you know, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be?
I think it was the conversations with Coach Hall that first made me really, really consider it. And then when I came on campus and kind of drove around looking out the window, I was like, I could really see myself here. And I mean, OU is just so beautiful that I was like, wow, like, I love it here. So
Yeah.
it kind of, I think that drive around kind of solidified it for me.
So going into softball, what was the moment where you realized, like, wow, I'm actually in college and this isn't high school?
Welcome to college softball
Yeah.
moment, or welcome to student athlete moment? It's a tough one.
I know.
It's like,
I mean, you just got on campus 8 months ago, so
that's true.
I think probably our first fall game actually, no, I changed my answer. I think our first practice, it was our first practice of 20-hour weeks, and it was like 90 degrees outside, 95 degrees, and we were running poles, and I got down, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this what it's going to be like? Well, that day was a tough one, but I think that kind of made me realize, I was like, okay, this is legit, like, here we go. And then our first fall game was when it really set in, like, wow, I'm playing at the college level.
yeah. You said you were running poles?
Yeah.
What is that?
Going from the left field foul pole to the right field foul pole.
Ooh.
Is that do you do that as fast as you can, or is it like
Is it
just
time?
We did like a build up, so we would like jog halfway and then sprint the other half. We did it quite a few times, and
I've done poles when I was in high school. I played baseball and like the poles. Yeah, those were tough.
Yeah.
They were definitely challenging, for sure. That is a fact.
Sounds fun.
That is a fact. Early on in your college journey, like what's something that you've noticed about yourself that you've, maybe didn't realize before, in terms of like growing? Where have you learned the most about yourself?
I feel like I learned that I'm capable of more than I thought I was. I feel like I doubt myself a lot, and I came here and I'm like, okay, I just gotta get through this day or get through this practice. But I realized that I can do a lot more than just get through it. Like, I can be the best this day, or I can get an A in that class. And I think I realized that I doubt myself a lot and that I'm capable of a lot more than the bare minimum.
Good.
Yeah.
What are ways for you to, help yourself get into, when you feel yourself getting to those doubt moments, what do you do to change your mindset?
I think I really need to just ground myself and figure out be more in the moment. I think I let my head run sometimes about whatever's next or what I just did or the error I just made or whatever it is. But I think when I realize I'm here for a reason, I deserve to be here, I can do this, they can do this, people before me have done this, it's very possible, and I think it makes me realize I'm like, okay, I got this.
You got it, yeah.
That's tough to do, especially freshman year, coming in and going from, as that senior in high school, being looked at as someone to look up to. Now you're coming in freshman year, and it's a whole new environment.
Right.
And a whole new landscape and pace of the sport.
Yeah.
So proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
When did you come to the realization that, okay, I'm good at softball? that had to be maybe before Ohio, right?
Talk your stuff.
When was that moment?
I feel like high school ball, I set a lot of records in high school, and so I think when I got through those, I was like, wait, pretty legit. And probably freshman year of high school, when I did really well, it made me feel like I thought I would come in and scrape by for a position, but I was like, oh, wait, I can do it. I don't know. Yeah.
And you're a slap hitter, and
Yes.
and for people that don't know a whole lot about softball, the slap hitter, it can be challenging. Like it's a different approach. Walk us through how you've evolved and gotten better as a slap hitter, and explain kind of what the key is to being a good slap hitter.
Yeah. I started slapping when I was really little. I was like 9 years old, I think. Like my second year of travel, my coach switched me over. And I think a lot of the times I was just trying to touch the ball, and I was fast enough when I was a little kid, and everybody wasn't all that great, so I'd get on base every time. But I think when I first realized that I needed to, it was more the being intentional with what I was doing. So I think the key is to really, like, I have to really survey the field and figure out, have like an approach to what I'm doing, not just swing the bat, like realize, okay, this player's this far away, I'm going to try to get in front of them, or this player's this close, try to get it by them. I think just really being intentional and having a lot of bat control.
It's impressive. And shortstop,
Right.
always a shortstop?
Pretty much.
No?
I had a little outfield and second base, but
Okay.
basically always.
That's cool.
Cool.
Really, the foundation and like key to being a good shortstop. What does that look like for you?
I think being loud and being very aware. I think you got, as a shortstop, you have a lot of duties on the field, lots of bases to cover and places to be. So I think really just being aware of where the ball is, where the runners are, where everybody else is, and being intentional about what you're doing, I think is the key to that. And being loud enough to maybe tell your teammates where to throw the ball or whatever it is.
And you feel comfortable, especially that point that you just said about being loud enough to communicate with your teammates, and you're only a freshman. How have you been able to be comfortable in that?
I think definitely with the support of the people behind me. I mean, being between Lauren and Shelby, who are very vocal leaders on the field, I think that made it a lot easier for me and them. There was a lot of practices that was the thing. It was like, Abby, you have to be louder. But I think having them as people to look up to and people to learn from was the main thing that made me come out of my shell and be loud on the field. And just finding that confidence in myself as we go on.
Yeah. What off the field, what are you pursuing as far as studies go?
Right now I'm a human biology major. I'm thinking about pre-PA.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That's the goal.
How has it been from an academic standpoint, like balancing your athletics and your academics? How has that been first year?
So far, really good. My classes honestly weren't too hard this first year, and they're going to get a lot worse as they go on. But so this year it was pretty easy, but I can assure it'll get a lot harder as I go on.
You talked earlier about Coach Hall, just like the conversation you had with her and how it felt right and to come here and everything. One thing I've always loved when she says the joys in the doing and trying not to be outcome oriented but process oriented, like focusing on the journey. What are some other things maybe that you've taken from this coaching staff that's helped you as a player and person?
There's so many. Coach Hall really goes like comes at us as humans first, and instead of athletes. And she really, I think, makes me see the bigger picture of things a lot. Like if she were to get on me one day, I know that it's not her out of any malice in her heart. She fully just wants me to get better. And I think she really makes me be grateful for what I have and what I'm doing. And she really implements the team first out of all of us. And I think that helps us all, having someone who realizes the importance of the connection between us. I think that's so important. And Coach Piper, she mostly focuses with us infielders. And she's taught me a lot about just confidence on the field and even mechanical stuff, like coming at the ball. And she's so much fun to be around. So I think it makes it a lot of fun. And my swing-wise, they've helped me a lot with my swing. And I feel like I've never had a true coach really focusing on little itty bitty details of my swing and whatever it is. So having them like really pay attention and really work on things, I think has really benefited me.
That's really cool. That's a lot. That's both on the field and off the field stuff. That's really good impact.
Yeah.
So what are you seeking to challenge yourself with the most, like, moving forward? As you have several more years ahead of you here at Ohio, what are you seeking to challenge yourself with and learn?
I think I challenge myself to become more of a leader. I think this year I've being a freshman and all, have felt like I have to fall under the follower role. But I think as I go on, I challenge myself to be more of a leader during practice or on the field or outside of the field, whatever it is, because it doesn't matter how old you are, you can be a leader no matter what. And
yeah, I agree with that.
yeah, and I challenge myself to, outside of school, do more things like that aren't softball or school related, like do more things on the campus as well.
Take advantage of that
Take
campus.
advantage of it.
Bike path. Have you
Yeah.
been on the bike path
I
walking?
have once, but see, I got to
One
do that
time.
more.
Get
I
out
know.
there.
I went
Get
though
out
when
there.
there was the pink leaves on all the trees.
Cherry
blossoms.
blossoms.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, the camp, like just walking around the campus.
It's refreshing.
Honestly,
Yeah.
just going, no matter where it is, going for a walk is so refreshing.
It is.
Goodness, that is
Beautiful.
just
Every
taking
time
time.
I do it, I feel so much better, but it's like, why don't I do it more?
Yeah, I also like journaling too. You journal, Tanaya?
Not as much as just listening to music. What I like to
Listen to
do,
music.
without either, if I don't walk, I'll take a drive and
Okay.
just put on some music and let my mind wander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. All right, we'll get into some off the tracks here. You ready to rock and
yes.
roll? All right.
Let me start.
Buckle up, off the tracks. Let's get it. Let's go. Start.
Okay. See into the future or change the past.
See into the future. I feel like I wouldn't want to go back and change anything. I'm here now, so
No regrets.
That is
Right.
we are getting we've gotten the same answer for that question
Really?
across the board. So yeah, it is. That's a fact. Yeah, everything happens for a reason. That cliche.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Sometimes
right.
you're like, did that?
That's it.
Yeah, like if I didn't do this, it probably wouldn't happen.
What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Mint chocolate chip.
That's mine.
Get a lot of hate for it,
Yeah, I'm huge
I am.
mint.
I'll be the one.
You don't
to
like
hate
mint chocolate chip?
salted caramel.
but ooh. I'm not a big caramel girl. I don't know.
That
good.
gets all up in your
Mint
teeth.
chocolate chip. It just reminds me of I'm eating toothpaste.
Disagree.
Well, if you're it's gonna make your breath smell good.
It doesn't all the time if you got chocolate in
Okay,
That's true.
Facts. Go ahead.
it. Dinner with one celebrity.
Ooh.
Tough.
I know. Maybe my favorite music artist of all time is Luke Bryan.
Hey.
Or like maybe an actor like Timothy Chalamet or somebody like that.
Timothy Chalamet shouted out Parker Navarro, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So we need more Timothy Chalamet.
Right.
Just knowing about Ohio University,
That's true.
not just the football team, just all
Get
the
him a
sports,
whole-
all the sports. Who is your favorite fictional character?
Ooh. Well, my favorite show ever is Grey's Anatomy. And I
Okay.
feel like it's got to be George O'Malley.
That's a good one. I love him.
He's so cute.
He is. He's so cute. This isn't on here, but
Okay.
one word that best describes you.
I would say caring, probably. I feel like I care a lot about no matter what it is. So
That's a good trait.
It's a great
to
trait.
have. You care about maybe the impact on
Right.
people or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where does that come from?
probably my mom. She's also a very caring person. So
Shout out, Mom.
Shout out to mom.
Shout out, Mom.
What song is on repeat right now?
Ooh. Recently, as it's been getting warmer, I feel like I've been playing Springsteen by Eric Church all the time because that song makes me feel like summer's here.
Love that.
It's almost here. Is that your same song that you'd sing karaoke to?
Ooh, probably not. I feel like my karaoke song would have to be a lot less hard notes to hit. Maybe like something pop. Ugh. When we did bus karaoke on the bus, I did the song. I can't think of what it's called.
Did you have to pick this song or?
Yeah, the "Want
Or
You
someone-
Back" by Sharon Lloyd.
Okay.
It's like the dun 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 dun. That
Yeah.
one was mine.
Nice.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
Most. I'm gonna change that.
Change it up.
Most
Switch it up.
used app on your phone.
Probably TikTok, unfortunately, but
Is the
probably.
messaging app, or is the the messaging just for texting? Is that an app?
Yeah.
It's
you called? Yeah.
I would
That
say
was
for me
that's your most used app.
I feel like that's the app. I mean, if I'm texting people,
I think it's my bank account.
just checking to make sure.
Nervous.
Yeah,
Getting
probably
nervous.
my bank account too. That's a
Get
good
nervous.
one. That's a good one. Couple more. Would you rather live underwater or in space?
Ooh, underwater.
3 for 3.
Yeah, we got people loving it. I mean, hey, you can
I-
be friends with all the little sea
Yeah.
creatures.
I
I'd
don't
like
trust space. So.
Yeah,
But you could
Scary
discover.
brown or
You could discover a new place to live.
that's
I don't know.
true.
But then, like, this is a bad question for me because I don't trust space and I can't swim. So
Oh, either way.
staying on land.
Oh man. Speaking of land, you are what a segue. You are stuck on a deserted island with no one around.
Let's see
What is the item that you would bring?
One.
Only one.
One item? Okay. I won't say a boat because I feel like that's the cheat.
It's like no one's thought of a boat.
Yeah, no one's brought a boat.
Maybe probably like some type of music player. If I'm gonna be out there, I might as well have some music playing.
Okay. I like hey, play it loud enough someone will be able to
Sure.
hear you.
Yeah.
And
Probably
then
should worry
pick
about
you
my
up.
survival.
Yeah. helicopters will fly by. They'll be like,
that.
But, yeah, I hear something.
yeah.
I love that.
Pick up Abby, save her from the deserted island.
Yeah.
So good. That's so good.
What else here?
Oh, can I?
Yeah. What you got?
Your favorite quote.
Oh.
Wow. Throwing some hard questions here. That's a tough one.
I don't know.
tough.
Do you have one?
Do you-
Okay,
what's
do you
your
have, like,
quote?
a
Come
motto?
on.
Do you have a motto?
I feel like I have to tell myself a lot of the times that everything happens for a reason. I know it's
There
cliche,
you go.
but like I try to when stuff goes wrong. Really try to believe that.
Yeah, because no matter what happens with that moment or that incident, like it can lead to growth.
Right.
It can lead
Yeah.
to like
It can
making
lead to-
making a mistake. It can lead to growth. Had you not made that mistake, or had you not had that experience, you might not grow as much
Right.
as you if you just kind of just live this flat line life.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's good.
Boom. Boom. All right. That's all we got. I'm like, man, there's one more on here. Okay. Favorite athlete of all time? Did we ask that?
No.
Yeah.
I would say Simone Biles.
Great answer.
I love her and love watching her, and I think she's done so much for women's sports.
Yes,
So-
she has.
Can we talk
Yes.
about that for a second? The growth of women's sports.
Oh my gosh.
When you were a kid versus now, what's the biggest thing that you've noticed about the growth?
I think just how many people pay attention to it. I feel like before it was just the girls and then the dads of the girls usually, or the few people there. But I feel like now, like with basketball especially, it's everybody's watching.
Yeah.
And I think it's only been on an upward popularity. So I think
And softball, college softball
Right.
has grown tremendously. I mean, I feel like you feel like there's an audience behind just the team and the the parents,
Yeah.
right? Do you feel that at
Yeah.
at Ohio that there's an audience?
No, for sure. There's
Yeah.
definitely more than just the parents out there I see.
Yeah,
I
That's-
love a softball
That's
game.
great. It is great to see because women's sports is, I mean, the level of talent and just the energy, the passion, and the dedication. It's up there. It's
So
totally
much more fun.
My favorite thing about going to softball, any other sport, is that I just admire you. Just as a former student athlete, you know how hard it is.
Yeah.
You know, but you also don't know how hard it is because you don't know how to play that sport. I mean, some could say they could do both, but it's just like I like watching it from the aspect of just like, man, like they are tough. Like they're just like, I admire other
Yeah.
women athletes because it's just hard, and it's just like I love that. I don't know how to play softball. Every time I go to any game, I'm like, man, I wish I could play. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even say I can. I'm just like, I wish.
Yeah.
I wish I could hit off Skip.
Oh my gosh,
Literally,
me too.
I wouldn't. She be. I'll be like, hey. She look like she's just ready to hurt
Yeah.
somebody.
The other thing I love about softball too is just how engaged you all are,
Oh, gosh.
pitch to pitch. I mean, the chants or whatever
goodness.
whatever y'all are saying in the dugout is just like it's. Do you have to rehearse that?
Well, we've been doing them for forever, so I think they just,
Come natural.
yeah, they're just engraved in all of our brains. But
Like that's what is one? What's a go to like?
we like to, if the pitch is too high or too low, we'll chant a lot about like, one of our favorites is like, if she throws it too high, we'll be like, somebody get her a bucket. She's throwing up. Like, whatever it is.
That's good.
But
And
doing stuff like that makes it just so much more fun. And
Yes.
it actually, there's a noticeable difference in how well we play with our energy.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Feeds.
Yeah.
Contagious.
Well, Abby, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate your time. The softball energy is super high right
Oh, yeah.
now. And again, yeah, really appreciate all the insight. And yeah, love it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest on Bobcat Tracks presented by Labatt Blue is the one and only Millie Ryan.
Woo! Yes!
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. I'm
Two
so
Rufus
happy.
Award winners.
Yes, yes. If you don't know what Rufus Award is, we have a student athlete award show, and one of the awards is presented to the athlete that has the most school spirit and just the true spirit of a Bobcat. Yep. The woman that is speaking currently, better known as Tanaya Stevens,
What a way to plug yourself.
two-time Rufus Award winner, and I had the esteemed privilege to hand the baton to Millie.
Oh, I think that was better than getting the award.
No.
Just seeing you.
Stop it. But it just shows the track and field team. We do damage on the
yeah.
track and field, but we also support the Bobcats. But Millie deserves that. Millie, she's one of the few athletes who isn't just a friend to the track and field program. Her best friends are swim and dive.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep, they
And
are.
you know what they say? You are the company that you keep. They are championship. They're
They
a championship
are.
team. She's a championship woman.
The award, the Rufus Award, it's for school spirit, right? And passion. I need to hear how you won this award. What is it about who you are that led to you winning that award?
I think I mentioned during my speech, OU has just been a childhood dream. I've grown up around this area. Most of my family has come to this school, so kind of growing up, just seeing this atmosphere, I fell in love at such an early age. Like, I think I just found a picture whenever I was 2 in front of Grover, just hanging out, and I was with my family. I have so many pictures just like that, and I've just loved this campus for so long. It was such an easy decision. So being a Bobcat has been a dream, and the people I've met, including T, including you, everyone I've met, has just added to that dream and just made it really a reality.
Phenomenal.
And that's the passion that you pour into other people to win this award.
Yeah.
That is given out at the Catspys, by the way. The Catspys took place a couple days ago. That is awesome. That is so wild.
Yeah.
We need to find that photo.
Yes,
Oh,
please.
yeah, I have it. I have it.
Really?
Send it.
It's a
Yes.
little bit embarrassing, but it's okay.
That's
okay.
wild. So
But speaking of passion and growing up,
Yes.
let's start at the beginning of this journey of
Way
Miss
back.
Millie Ryan. So tell us about, just getting into throwing and how you got here.
So my sister is the one that really got me into it. She started throwing, I believe in junior high. And I'm built like her, so automatically people just looked at me and was like, all right, you're going to be just like her. She ended up coming to OU for throwing. She still holds the javelin record here. So just being able to be here, I actually got to spend time with the throws team, see how the culture is here. Another reason just to fall in love with it and fall in love with the sport. Getting compared to my sister was a great privilege, and being able to continue as a Bobcat, getting compared to her and just kind of living in her, not shadow, but kind of following in her footsteps. I have loved really every second of it.
So this Ohio was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You didn't even look at another school.
I looked at other schools. Some other schools were interested in me. Some outside the MAC, like some Big Ten. But the location, the size, and just really the campus and the atmosphere is what sold me. It was really a no-brainer. But
That's crazy.
Sam, everybody that talks about, when they come on campus, you just, it's something, obviously, they're here for a reason. But it's something about just walking on campus and you are just like, man, this is undeniably beautiful. It is breathtaking.
Yeah.
For it to be so small, it has such a big impact. The campus, when did you visit? Well, actually, that's a question.
I was class of 2021, so because of COVID, there weren't really any official visits. So, luckily,
you've been here since you're 2 years
yeah,
old, so you already know.
I would come here every Sunday for my sisters, getting their laundry and going out to Chipotle. So it was just a weekly thing. So I've been able to be here, know the in and outs. My sisters would have me up for every SIBS weekend, some extra SIBS weekends, just doing anything and everything around campus.
One of the
crazy.
descriptions for Rufus Award is that they truly bleed green. Millie Ryan, you can't take it away from me. She's been on campus longer than people know how to talk.
yeah, that's incredible. Where'd you grow up?
It's a small town named Vincent. It's kind of in between Marietta and Belpre, Ohio.
Up
So
the
it's
road.
about 35 minutes away, 40.
Okay, and like you just said a moment ago, your sister threw javelin here.
Yep.
So when you were a kid growing up, you were kind of funneled into the whole track and field sphere.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was mainly disc. She also did shot in high school, but she was definitely mainly disc. And they got her into javelin because she did volleyball. So it's kind of like that same motion of she was a hitter. Yep. Unfortunately, I was a soccer player, so I did not get that flexibility.
But you got the foot coordination.
Yeah, I got the foot coordination. So I'm more shot and disc and a little bit of hammer, where she was
Your
more.
sister had a record here.
She still does.
Yes.
Yep.
Shout her out.
It's in the javelin. Didn't you mention that earlier?
Yep. And javelin.
Those areas like the javelin, the hammer throw, the shot put, like all those, they're fascinating and people need to know more about it.
Yes.
People need to know more about track and field in general,
Period.
but like the disc, like the field events, like can you take us inside the field events and what makes it so special?
Yeah, I think I was actually just talking with my coach this weekend because we were kind of comparing running, they only get one chance, whereas field events sometimes get 3 or maybe 6 if you make finals. But it's such little things that add up, and they just all got to stack up in the right order for you to just be able to have that monster throw. So I've been working towards my best throw probably for 8 years now, and it's just never really added up correctly, but we're getting so close. But it could just be one little thing, and it's definitely hard mentally, just because you got to do so many reps, and everything could just change in a second. I've been struggling with shot a lot recently, and then 2 weeks ago, it's just like I'm back to normal, and like now I'm just like fine, and now disc is a little bit off. So it's just kind of finding that balance. And I think that's really where my past with like other sports has helped me, like with footwork, like you said, and just really thinking through everything. Sometimes it does harm me because I overthink some things, but just it takes so many like step by step by step just to get that one perfect throw, and you might be working towards that for years.
Yeah. I want to get into some of those steps.
Yeah.
Right? The steps of weight throw, hammer
Mm-hmm.
throw, shot put. What are the differences between those three specifically?
Mm-hmm.
The shot put, the weight throw, and the hammer throw. What are the similarities and differences?
So with shot and disc, especially if you do rotation for shot, it's very similar. The only difference is shot, you have to be kind of more compact and a little bit more explosive, where a disc, I'm struggling with this, but it's definitely more flowing. You just got to kind of feel like a slingshot, just sling it out there. Hammer, it's kind of like a drill almost. You're kind of drilling yourself in the ground until you finally have so much pressure, you're exploding out. So it's all about finding a good balance between staying like compact, but also knowing when to relax and just let the moment happen.
I think people fail to forget how strategic throwing is.
Yeah.
It ain't something that you can just pick up. Mind you, can you tell people how heavy that shot put is?
8.8.
Yeah, that's not something you can pick up and
Pounds?
just.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8.8 pounds.
It's not something you can just pick up and just
Yeah.
throw, you know. And then the disc is
It's like 2.2.
so it's lighter, but you got to bring a lot of like speed into that
Yeah.
to get it out there.
Yeah.
And then the hammer is such a different one because you don't. Not a lot of people. Well, I don't know how many high schoolers.
It's only so many states. I
Yeah.
know Columbus started like a little league.
Okay.
And that's how one of our freshmen got into it.
Okay.
But it's still very new.
So strange when
Yep.
you're getting into college because it's something that you're not used to growing up, and it's really difficult. I mean, it's hard. It's hard for me to watch
Yeah.
throwing. Not. It's the simple fact is, I know I couldn't do it. I always say that.
I've never tried it. I want to try it.
No.
Come out. Yeah.
I think the one of the things I'm scared of is I'll pass out from being dizzy.
And that's what, like, it's surprisingly not happened to me yet. I did last year get a concussion because when you mess with a hammer, and you mess with that orbit, it can sometimes get out of orbit and go up and down and fling you around. So I actually got flung to the ground and hit my head on the concrete.
Oh gosh.
So that was rough to come back from.
Wow. What are some things that you've learned the most about your journey as a student athlete while at Ohio, a place that you absolutely love?
I would just say, like, take every moment. Just really live in the moment. I've spent, like you said, a lot of my life here, so it kind of was like a no-brainer. I wouldn't say I take it for granted, but it was just like I was expected to come here. I'm expected to go to track, like be on the track team. And for a little bit, it just kind of felt like I was living like on cruise control, just kind of going through, like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a job. But then I met some great people, met some great teammates, and it's really made me, especially this week, coming up from graduation, coming up on my last track meets, just really appreciate the opportunity I've been given and the place I've been able to live the past 4 years and be able so involved with athletics and my academics. It's been so great.
That put it on the nail. Bow.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Millie and I had a kind of like a similar track and field journey as we've had gone through several coaches, going through COVID. Well, you've started in it, but what could you take away from those perspectives of just the simple fact of going through adapting and going through those type of life changes within, your collegiate career?
Yeah, really, especially it's definitely easier with track with it being an individual sport, and it's just kind of taught me how much do I actually want this. I know for a little bit, like, I struggled with that fact, like, do I actually want to be doing track, especially with all those changes, kind of uncertainty. And just, it's taught me how much I do want to be doing this and how much I do love the sport and just love actually, like, putting in the work. And, like, I've been able to be blessed with not too many injuries, so I've been able to do all 4 years, no red shirts, and it's just kind of taught me how blessed I am to be able to have this opportunity.
That's rare. No red shirts.
No red shirts, Steve.
Yeah. and
That's
and
good.
also having an older sister that you talked about that was here, was a student athlete here. What pieces of advice did you get from her about student athlete life at OU?
She's kind of always been my role model, and even now I still look up to her. She was a nursing major, and so that was I would say even harder than student teaching that I do. And so just seeing how she handled that with so much grace, and she was able to excel athletically and academically, all while still being a great sister, still like having time for me and like coming home and like doing everything. It just really taught me like about the balance, and like it is possible, because you kind of hear like kind of people giving like some horror stories about the balance, especially even with non-student athletes. But seeing how she was able to handle it, it kind of gave me the confidence that I needed, even whenever I was questioning, can I do this? She was really always in my corner cheering me on.
Speaking of balancing, school, what's next for you? You said she was nursing, you're student teaching. What's next? You're a senior?
Emotions are at an all-time high.
Oh, yeah, they are. So I'm going to be graduating this Saturday. Might have to leave a little bit early for a track meet.
Graduate!
But I will be working in a middle school, 7th grade math next fall, back at my home school. So I'm still going to be living in Athens, thankfully, so I can't get rid of me yet. But I'm just really excited. Teaching has always been my dream job, along with coaching. So hopefully I'll be able to get some kind of experience, whether it's soccer, basketball, or track. I'm just really excited to go ahead and get in there.
Why mathematics
I love math. I've loved math since I was little. I've been good at it, but I've loved teaching people about it. That was always the one I was like for sure. And then with me being middle childhood, I had to pick another one. So I just went ahead and did English, just because, I don't know, math and English. It was the two tested areas. So of course I had to challenge myself.
Right.
What's an example of like something related to math that you really enjoy teaching? Like, and I want to get to specific, like derivatives. Like, what is a specific thing about math that you'd like to teach?
I'm in 5th grade math right now. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's definitely been the most time consuming, and it's fractions. It's just so amazing. Like, these kids, they have no idea like what a fraction is before you get to them, and just like being able to teach them like actually what something is. It's crazy to even imagine.
Here's a reason.
Yeah, it's like crazy to even imagine someone doesn't know what a fraction is. And
Miss Millie taught me this.
hopefully I've taught them something.
I would like to say my favorite memory of math, and I don't like math, is those time-tested math, the multiplication. You got to do that for the kids.
We're not supposed to do it.
What?
Yeah.
They took it out?
We're not supposed
The
to
multiplication
do it.
tables.
Yeah, remember they're like,
Yeah.
we have a time.
Yeah.
And it's like a white paper and just all.
We've been advised not to like test them on that. It's caused too much stress with math.
Do you take the calculator away? Try to get them to.
They're allowed, at least my school, and I think on like the state level, it's like next year, so 6th grade, that they're allowed to start using the calculator. So right now we're kind of in that in between where there's still a little struggle with some multiplication facts, but they're getting ready. And like they know that they're getting ready to have calculators. So then they just look at me like today. They're like, why do we need to do this? And I was like, well, you do.
While you've been at Ohio, you are a middle child language arts major, you said, and another major too?
Yeah, so I'm gonna graduate with middle childhood, so it's 4th through 9th, and then you have to pick 2 like content areas. So I chose English, language arts, and math.
Okay. What have you peeled from all of that as you've been at Ohio? Like something that you've learned in a class or you've taught while you've student taught here
Yeah, I think it's just amazing, like, what kids, like, know, and whether it's something completely out of the blue or it's how they want to solve a problem, the way that their minds work are absolutely, like, incredible. Like, they might not do it your way, and it might be frustrating because you have a certain agenda that you have to get done, especially in this time crunch, but the way they are able to think through things and, like, come up with absurd ways of thinking, it's just amazing. And, like, you can see already, like, they are, like, little people, like, they are already thinking so high and they don't even know it.
Good. She's passionate
Yeah.
about the kids.
How do you get kids to pay attention to you?
I mean, I can see why.
Like, no,
I can pay attention to Millie.
but no, I'm like that.
I feel
that's-
like I got.
I feel like this generation, like the young generation. I mean, even like
Attention
us,
span.
us,
Yeah.
like attention span
yeah.
is crazy. Like, hopefully none of them have what
Fifth grade.
Do you
yeah.
have to
Hopefully,
make, like,
hopefully none of them have
songs?
cell phones.
Oh, they definitely do, because I've heard them talk about it. They're not allowed to have it during, like, school hours at all. One thing that has surprisingly worked so well is my height, first of all. Like, that's the first thing that catches their eye. And they, like, always like, how tall are you? And I was like, I'm 6 foot. And they're like, no, you're not. So they will spend, like, that entire week, like, the first week I met these kids, they will come up to me and just, like, be like, you're not 6 foot. You're not 6 foot. And even that, just, like, they automatically pay attention.
And there's a curiosity.
Yeah, there's already curiosity, and then they kind of learn more about, like, what I like, and, like, they ask me questions, and just them, even if it's not about math, they need to know the person that's teaching them math in order for them
who
to
you
actually
are behind a
understand.
teacher, trying to get to know them. How does that process work?
Oh, it's so fun, and, like, especially with me being, like, an athlete, they love it. And so, like, this past week I had to miss 2 days because we went to Louisville, and I was throwing against an Olympian, and I told them that, and they were like, "Oh, you're cooked, you're cooked." And I was like, "Oh, you don't even know how bad it's gonna be." But, like, as soon as I got there today, it was like I was gone for a month, and they, like, all came up and hugged me. They were like, "How bad did you get beat? How bad did you get beat?"
Oh,
and I
come
was like, "Oh no!" And I was like, "It was pretty bad, but it's all right." And they were like, "Well, you still did good. Like, we still love you. We still love you. You did good." And I was like, "All right."
That's so funny.
Being in the same area as an Olympian too. That's side note. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's fun.
Who was it?
Jaden,
The girl from
Ulrich?
Indiana?
No, Louisville.
Oh, Louisville,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, she went to Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's cool too.
Yeah, she's so nice.
Yeah, she's a vibe.
Any other, or I guess we haven't asked this yet, in terms of, like, your favorite moments as a track and field student athlete? What resonates with you the most from like any moments, conversations that resonate?
I mean, I got to throw against her, got to meet Deanna Price, so that was pretty good. Hammer thrower.
Look her up.
Yeah.
Google.
She's crazy. But really, and what was really interesting, I always was nervous about going, like, to bigger meets as a freshman, because I was like, I'm throwing against these insane people. But, like, now that I'm a senior and I just kind of go, and it's just like a normal meet, and, like, either I'm going to throw amazing, just like these freshmen. I have 8 freshmen, and they're all my little babies, but they get so nervous, and then, like, just trying to teach them. It's been really, this whole year has been great just with them, and this has probably been my favorite year. Sorry, T.
Well, yeah,
just,
you
like,
get to teach.
These little freshmen, and it doesn't seem like that big of an age difference until we're all
see
together,
it,
and I'm
yeah.
just like, boy, like, they are 18 and 19 years old,
yeah.
and, like, they call me grandma, and I was like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, I'm so sorry, T, for 3 years of that.
Yeah, that's what you called me.
Yeah, so
her
I
grandma.
think, probably my best experiences have been with my own teammates, whether that's just hotel rooms or just bus rides. It's just been those little moments, going up against some Olympians have been great, but it's really those little moments.
Yeah, really the stats are just, and all that, the numbers, you're going to remember the relationships.
Yes.
You're going to remember the relationships with your coaches, with your student, with your fellow student athletes,
Yeah.
the people here at Ohio.
Yeah.
Speaking of relationships and stuff like that, I want to go back with student teaching. That's a hard thing to do as a student athlete. And one of the things you have to have is have that relationship with your coach to be able to communicate.
Yeah.
I might miss a practice, or I'm going to have to change up a practice. Can you talk about, and especially just like if a student athlete is watching this, listening to this, like they want to get into this field of study, but they know that they might have to sacrifice something. Can you just touch on that?
Yeah, it's a lot of busy days, and luckily Coach Mary has been very understanding.
Coach Mary.
Yeah, Coach Mary, shout out.
Coach Mary.
So always planning with her, it's been pretty easy, even if it's just like a later day where I might have to stay after for some meetings. So it's more like I'm getting out of there at 5. She's just like, all right, head straight to the weight room just to lift so I can meet everyone there and still be a part of the team, not have to miss out on too much. And then we can go through after. Like we'll stay after, it's fine. Other times like this past 2 semesters, I've always had Monday night classes. So I would go, especially last semester with our 6 a.m. practices, I would go like 5:45 a.m. till 7. Then I would leave for school until 3, then come back, practice till 5:45. Then I would have class 6 to 8. So just having that was definitely really rough. But not only was my coach really understanding, my professor was. She was like, if you're a few minutes late and you bring in dinner with you, she was like, I do not care. Like, I'm just glad you're going to actually show up. So it's just like communication. Most professors, I've not had an issue at Ohio University.
And that takes you far in life because jobs and people that, you're going to get in contact with, they're going to see the commitment, the dedication, and also just the respect that you have for yourself, for the people you're working with, and for the kids.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's hard being a student.
It is. No, it really is. I've heard so many stories about it, and it is crazy. Man, yeah, you brought up Coach Mary. Coach Mary told me, I wrote this quote down just to remember it, but Coach Mary said that you are an example of true perseverance and dedication. Both of those have been a winning combination for your success at Ohio. Can you elaborate on that or react to that?
I attest.
Yeah, there's been several situations, and like I know I talked about my health being pretty okay. I've just had some like lingering things, like not even track related, but just some overall health things, especially this past year. So just learning like I got to take care of myself first, and I think I did not realize the big change from like 21 to 22. I feel so old, and especially seeing all these young kids just running around, just being able to practice, do whatever they want. I just never took care of myself. So like just trying to persevere through all those like little mental hiccups and physical hiccups. And really just the people around me, whether it's Coach Mary, Coach Pease, my teammates, throwing or running.
Yeah.
Shout out Kelsey Harris.
Y'all are good friends.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Because it's only me, Kelsey, and Sarah Liederbach, I think, from our freshman year.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's just us 3. So definitely all of those people just pushing me, even if I haven't seen them all week, and it's like the day of the meet. Like, I know that they'll be cheering on me, ask me how I'm doing, just checking in. And just pretty much all my throwing girls, they just always are checking in, always pushing me. I never really realized how much they do look up to me. It was always kind of weird because I've never had an underclassman with me. Just the few that came on, they kind of just fell out a little bit, and so it's always just been me, and I was like kind of the baby, and then Jasmine came in, but she's the same age as me, so I'm still kind of the baby. And so then finally getting 8 babies, they kind of push me to even be more of a leader than even I was expecting to.
That's awesome.
She rises to the
Yeah,
occasion.
that is really cool. That's That's a good perspective. Like, you can, there's people in people you come across in life that can bring even more out of you than you envisioned. It's crazy. So what do you want to, how would you, this is always one of my favorite questions to ask, but how do you want to be remembered when you leave OU? You're not leaving, but when you leave your time as an undergrad, what are you gonna, what would you like to say?
I think I would just want to be remembered as someone, I guess, just to look up to, and just even if we are like the same age, just someone someone that you can like lean on and trust and kind of rely on. I've always been that way, kind of, whether I'm on a team or even as a teacher, just kind of being a light to be around, having, even if I'm not the most positive all the time, I still am able to kind of just like buck up and lead. So that's how I'd love to be remembered. I know it's kind of hard to do, but just having that kind of light for everyone.
Love that.
It's great.
Off the tracks.
Here we go.
We'll wrap it up with some quick off the tracks.
Are you ready?
It's time for off the tracks. Let's get it. Let's go. You want to start? You start.
Fine. What's dinner with one celebrity?
Oh no.
Can say
I would
me.
say, I would love to say UT. I would say Peyton Manning.
Oh,
Peyton Manning.
good.
Good quarterback. What is your favorite, or who is your favorite fictional character?
Oh my goodness. I'll go Katniss Everdeen. Katniss Everdeen.
I gotta
I'm
look that.
obsessed with those.
I
Hunger
gotta
Games.
look that.
Hunger
Oh yeah,
Games.
I don't tap into a lot of that. Sadly,
That's shocking because
Yeah.
I thought you would.
I've never seen the Hunger Games.
Really? You
goodness.
never read the book? The first one at least?
I don't think so.
That's interesting. Sam.
Yeah,
All
sorry.
right. No,
Sorry.
that's fine.
I'll read it soon.
I know you have a song because Coach Mary be blasting it in the wherever we travel. Go to karaoke song.
Oh no. Probably All Too Well Taylor Swift 10-minute version.
She's gonna say Taylor Swift.
How does it go?
Sing it.
It's a
little bit.
I
It's okay.
cannot.
No pressure.
Every van ride, we have to play it at least once, and I will be singing that or Country Roads.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
a
a good
WV
one. That's a
fan,
good one.
so-
That's a good one.
Are those the same songs that are on repeat right now that you play on your current like playlist?
Yes, they are. I listen to Country Roads about every day going to school because it just calms me down, gets me ready for the day.
Nice.
But when you drive back, it's silent.
Yeah, whenever I drive back, it's silence. Normally calling someone, just being,
That's what
get my
happens.
mind.
Go ahead.
Would you rather live underwater or in space?
Underwater. I don't know what's going on up there. I don't want to know. If it's working, that's all I care about.
Okay, it's gonna make you think, Miss Millie. Would you rather know what everyone thinks about you, or everyone knows what you think about them?
I'd rather know what everyone thinks about me. That's so.
Hi.
I don't. Yeah, there's no way.
That's
I would
a
have to know.
crazy question too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy. You are stuck on an island with nobody around. What's the one essential item you'd bring?
Oh, I can't bring anyone. Can I bring?
Yeah,
her?
it's got to be an item.
I would probably bring.
Unless it's your boyfriend, it'd be an item.
I would probably bring like a big knife, like a machete or something. I can't think of it.
Maybe to cook.
Yeah.
Like if you catch
SOS, writing SOS on the sand.
one of our earlier
Maybe.
guests, Matt Ineich, said that he would bring a fishing pole. So if he caught a fish, maybe then you can use the knife to cut up the fish
Yeah.
or something, and
Maybe.
then you'd
You
have
know,
to
like,
eat the fish.
They do like that fish.
Eat the fish though.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
Okay. Favorite athlete of all time?
I want to say Peyton Manning again, but I'm trying to think of another.
You can.
Yeah, I'll go with Peyton Manning or my sister Emma Ryan. I'll go either one.
Aw.
Toss up.
Okay. That's good company for your sister. And then lastly, what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh, Moose Tracks. Specifically the Walmart brand because it's so cheap.
What is Moose Tracks?
It's just like big chunks of fudge with some peanut butter cups. And yeah, it's just a bunch of chocolate and peanut butter.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've never tried it, but
Yeah.
Sounds good.
we'll try it out.
Yeah,
we'll try it
it's
out
really
someday.
good.
All right.
That is it.
That's it.
Wow.
Millie
Millie.
Ryan.
Millie
Anything
Ryan.
you want to say to the Bobcats?
MAC championships for track and field, May 15th through the 17th. Come out and support.
Where will we be?
Here.
Here. Oh, forgot. Yep, at Ohio University.
Your last ride.
I know, that's crazy. I have a few fifth graders lined up coming apparently.
They're going to cheer you on.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
I cannot lose apparently. That's what they told me.
Well, Millie, thank you so much for coming on Bobcat Tracks, presented by Labatt Blue. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
That is a wrap. Bobcat Tracks presented by Labatt Blue, our final episode of the semester and of the 2024-2025 school year, presented by Labatt Blue. Our three guests, Matt Ineich, Abby Kennelly, and Millie Ryan. Three awesome conversations, and at times left us, I'd say, speechless. They were really insightful.
I think with every episode that we've had, you can tell that all these athletes are very knowledgeable beyond their sport. It's just great to have conversations and seeing them from without the uniform and just talking to them like every day. It's great to see what they do besides their sport.
Yeah, as a former student athlete yourself, Tanai, what is your best piece of advice to current student athletes?
Go beyond what you came in for. So if you're here just to be an athlete, you're gonna leave out here just being that athlete, and it's not gonna go as far as you want it. So go beyond where you think you are, and it'll take you places.
Well put. All right, so we want to again thank everyone for joining us throughout the course of the 24-25 school year. It has been one heck of a ride, and we will talk to you in the 25-26 campaign. I haven't said 2026 until just now.
Woo.
That was crazy. But anyways, for Tanaya Stevens, my name is Sam Hyman. Again, thanks for watching Bobcat Tracks presented by Labatt Blue. Go Bobcats.
Go Bobcats.